have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to be, who you're going to be, who you're going to be.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Nervous, don't get me wrong, but things are full steam ahead, and the Louis Joe Armstrong show is fucking officially in a business, but we'll see how this goes.
Nervous isn't really a word that I would use to describe you.
We'll see. So, this bitch, well, okay, right, I won't call her a bitch, that's a bit steep. Meghan Markle, right? What do you think of her? Because the country is divided, she's fucked off with Harry. What do you think?
I mean, I'm a big believer in, true love and trusting the good in people and that they have the best intentions, but obviously that's probably a little bit naive in the world that we're in today. But from what I've seen, my first opinion would be that everyone's been a bit, full on with her. She's just a girl who fell in love with her boyfriend.
Oh, do you really feel that? Because feel sorry for her. Do I feel sorry for her? She knew what world she was getting into, and she said at the back of that African tour that she knew what it was going to be like, but she wanted it to be fair. I really, really, really don't believe that, because there's journalists that have come out. When she first flew to London, she was begging to be in the tabloids. She knew what this was like. As Piers Morgan has said on Good Morning Britain, like a shitload. She went and met him at a swanky bar.
I followed 4 of the stars of Suits on Twitter. Yeah. Within 5 minutes, I got this direct message from Meghan Markle.
A private message, obviously. Yeah.
And it said, hey, I'm a big fan, and so excited you're following me. And this is
she said to you?
This was about 3 years ago. She began sending me early copies of Suits episodes.
Right.
She'd email me from, places like Rwanda. I thought we had a good sort of friendship building. So she said, would you like to meet up for a drink? I said, come to my local pub. I'm an Irishman. Come to my pub. So she came to my local pub in Kensington, ironically about half a mile from Kensington Palace,
yes.
where she now lives. We had 2 hours in the pub. She had a couple of dirty martinis, had a couple of pints. We got on brilliantly. And then I put her in a cab, and it turned out to be a cab that took her to a party where she met Prince Harry. And then the next night, they had a solo dinner together, and that was the last I ever heard from Meghan Markle. Look, I really liked her. This is why it hurts. No, I really liked her. I just think she's a slight social climber, I'm afraid.
She knew what she was getting herself in for. She had struck gold. Yeah. Can you honestly feel sorry for her?
Well, just when I think about it, if she, like people say, she's fame hungry, she's just looking for the money, and if that were true, surely she would want to stay in the royal family. If she stayed in the royal family, she would constantly be in the limelight, much like Kate. She would have unlimited funds to money. They would never have to work or look for anything in a day in their lives. But yet they're choosing to move away from it all and only survive on the money that they've been given from, to Harry in his trust and all that sort of stuff. So they're choosing to step away from, obviously they will always be in the news, but they would have more limelight and more money staying in the royal family. So if she was money hungry and fame hungry, why would she choose to leave?
She would have lived a life of royalty, all this different kind of stuff. But on the statement them released, one of the main reasons them wanted to step back as senior royals is because they wanted to become financially independent. There's been financial advisors speak to the press and say they brand now because she's got all the attention she needs. The attention will never go away now. The brands that will approach her, they're saying that it could be $1 billion business. Them two together. Fair enough, they can't use the HRH title anymore, but to everyone, they're still royalty, and they're going to capitalise on that. There's sniffs in Canada that the Royal Protection Officers are so fucking sick of them. They're being treated like skivvies. She's really fit back into the role of a Hollywood princess, and she's got both of them titles. So I don't think I can feel sorry for her because she's set everything up. Even her own dad is now saying that he doesn't know who she is, and they were so close up until this whole thing with Harry. And cutting everyone out.
The last time they might see me is being lowered into the ground.
That's not a humanitarian. That's not cool. Not at all. It's barbaric in a way. It's the way she's come down and the way she's really kicked people.
She's a controlling woman. Oh!
I don't know. She's maybe a bit too big for her boots now.
Yeah, I find it hard to sort of judge her when there's so many different. Everyone always seems to be looking at the negative and saying that she's, is she with Harry because of the money, and is she just fame hungry because she was an actress and now she's like always on the front pages and whatnot? But I just find it hard to believe that they would choose to, leave the royal family, go live in Canada or whatnot. I mean, he's worth 45 million by himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's just money given to him by Diana. So in hindsight, if everyone's angry at her wedging her way into the royal family and them having to leave the royal family, should Harry be allowed to take the 45 million that was left to him from his mum?
Yeah, but that money that Diana got, that was in her divorce settlement, and so that was legally through the courts that become her income, just like everyone else's parents that have got money when they die. It naturally goes to their kids. It was part of Charles's wealth that was probably from things from within the royal family, but obviously when they divorce, that becomes Diana's funds. But no, I'm really unsure on Meghan Markle. She's talking about the next stop is moving back to LA. Yeah, it's $1 billion business, and I really do think she's played her cards like very well. But the Queen must be totally sick. She's got to be. She's on her last legs now. Well, I say that she's on her last legs. We don't know, but she's 93 years old. She's not going to last that much longer.
She's getting old.
Yeah, I do generally think the monarchy could collapse when the Queen dies. Like, do you not think, or what do you think of that?
I mean, obviously, the Queen's been in power since she was a young age, so it's all that most people have known for 2 generations.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think I wouldn't say that I think it collapsed. If anything, I think that the royal family should take more of a footing in everything that's happening in England. I would love for them to take over some sort of control over Parliament, because, like, we all know that Parliament is, a house full of dicks. So if the Queen could take control back, she used to, but for some reason it's probably because she's old now. She can't, she can't be bothered. But I mean, the royal family bring in something, I can't remember the numbers, but it's something like 300 million a year or something, or 30 million a year or something to the country.
No, it's annually. The way this works out is they say that they bring that money into the country, they do, but it's from businesses that sell Kate Middleton's clothes, like she'll model them and they sell it within minutes, and so obviously it's all the tax off that kind of stuff. It's not just directly through tourism. I do generally think 100% that the monarchy could come down, because if you think about it, as I said, the Queen's 93 years old now. Maybe she might die this year. Who knows? Or she might be given a hell of a lot more power to Charles, which she's already got. Season 3, The Crown, comes out, and this is going to be the biggest one yet because it's the whole Diana Charles stuff.
Yeah.
Diana's still got a huge amount of love and support in this country, but naturally she's not in the papers every single day now, and so people kind of forget what Charles done. New things come out. We all know, but we don't think about it every day. The press are going to be over this like a fucking rash. Of course they are. And that's just when Charles becomes king. And originally when they divorced and Charles got remarried, everyone wanted to know if she would become queen. And Charles released a statement saying, no, she'll never be queen in respect of Diana. And then from what I've read about 4 years ago, Charles's press secretary said, no, she will be classed as queen. And so if all that falls around the same time, around the crown, the press, no one likes Charles, they want William, I do genuinely think the monarchy could collapse. If you look at Canada, they're just waiting for the Queen to die, and then they're going to untie themselves from the Commonwealth. Yeah. We're now going to start looking. People in this country are going to be thinking, why? Like, why are we paying for these people? They're just normal people now. Part of the monarchy was mystique. They never had problems. It was all a mystery, and the Queen's done a very good job of handling that. Like, she's give her life, and she's done it fucking brilliantly. But the newer royals are just complaining, they're suing people, they're showing that they're just normal people. And so I definitely think there could be a shift, 100%.
I mean, I would love to see the royal family take back some control in the country. Because when you look back at history, until our generation, the queens and kings always used to have such a strong say in what happened.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, when we got to our generation and when the Queen was young, probably before that, a few generations back, all the royal family are a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
And, like, I do think that Canada taking back its own, sort of like independence and whatnot, and would actually not be a bad thing. And it's not the same as it was. We're not owned by, they're not owned by the Commonwealth or anything, but it seems like there's no reason why Canada, which is such a lovely country, why would it want to us?
Oh, you see, I don't know. I don't know if they should take back any control in the country, because I think that's how they've survived so long, just as I said, the Queen's just stayed out of everything. It's don't complain, don't explain. That was the royal family's mantra. Whatever. I do think if they took a bit more control back of the country, apparently the Queen's got royal prerogatives. She can block laws. There was something, I think it was Gordon Brown's government, said to the Queen, try to pass a law that they were going to take more power off her, and that was the last time she used the royal prerogative to shoot it down. It would turn people against them because they would have to be political, and they can't be political because then that'll divide their fan base even more. So I don't think that would ever work, but I generally do think 100% that this year, next year, sometime 100% within our lifetime, I think the monarchy could collapse. I really do. But I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see on that one, I guess. Who's your most favourite royal?
Ooh, right now?
Yeah.
Um,
Don't you dare say Meghan or Harry.
No, I was just trying to think of I would go with Will.
Will.
I would be more than happy if Will and Kate took power.
Yeah, I was actually looking into that, and apparently that's something the Queen can't do, is change the line of succession. That's one thing she can't do, because there was a whole poll, and don't quote me on these numbers, but I'm sure it was something like 78% of the Sky News poll, I think it was Sky News, said they don't want Charles, they don't want Camilla, they want William and Kate, and that just can't happen. So I don't know, no one wants King Charles, so we'll have to see, I guess, 100%.
I would, being a young, sort of, not that young, unfortunately, but being in a young sort of generation, I would be one of those people if I had a young or younger sort of royal family come into play, like Will and Kate, it took over some control and made a decision. I mean, call me old-fashioned or whatnot, but I would go with it. I would be like,
do you think?
The king and queen have decided that this is what's best for the country, and they have the country's, best interests in heart. So, yeah, I think that what they're doing is probably the right thing. But then that's what everyone used to have to go with for all of history until, 100 years ago or something. Which is why I think if they just took some control back, I would rather trust Will and Kate than everyone who's in Parliament now. Just sitting there texting on their phone, asleep. Why shouldn't Will just walk in and be like, you know what? No, we're not leaving Brexit anymore. I've made a decision.
But that would still divide them. I definitely think that would divide them, because if you look at when political parties run, there's a huge divide in their fans, and the royal family can't risk that, because their whole survival revolves around this mystique, and this mystique's fastly disappearing. But no, I guess in a ideal world, yeah, they would take back a bit of power and they could step in. But if you look at Prince Andrew, imagine him having power, that car crash interview.
Prince Andrew, Queen Elizabeth's second son and eighth in line to the British throne, telling BBC's Newsnight he has no regrets about his friendship with the businessman.
Now, still not. The reason being is that the people that I met and the opportunities that I was given to learn, either by him or because of him, were actually very useful.
In 2008, Epstein was convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor. In 2010, just months after Epstein's sentence ended, the prince was seen in this video obtained by the Mail on Sunday, appearing in the doorway of Epstein's New York home.
And now he's refusing to cooperate with the FBI.
The Southern District of New York and the FBI have contacted Prince Andrew's attorneys and requested to interview Prince Andrew. And to date, Prince Andrew has provided zero cooperation.
Which he's denying, but who knows? I don't know. Politics is fucked.
All those times where we've had kings in the past who have been tyrants and everything, people just had to, deal with it. It was the way the country was. It's run by a royal family. That's the way it's been since the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's why shouldn't they be able to make decisions now? So half the people in the country won't agree with them, but that's not, unfortunately, it's not a popularity contest with the royal family.
Yeah, obviously they're struggling to pass laws. Now the government is fucking up in arms with 101 different things. So if you think that the royal family could step in, this whole thing, 1 second. Sorry, I had a burp. So if you think that the royal family should step in with things, who knows if that would work? But the government are up in arms now with trying to pass all these different laws with 101 different issues. This whole terrorism problem we've got in the UK, and actually I'm not going to say a problem, it's an epidemic, pandemic, whatever the word is. This is some crazy messed up shit. What do you think about that? Should terrorists be jailed for life, or do you think that the current situation of them being eligible for parole halfway through the sentence?
I think it to me it completely depends on what it is that's happened. I mean, obviously, the first thing I think of when you say terrorists is like, you know, the obvious, you know, bombs or people taking down planes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but like any level of terrorism, like spreading hate, planning, actually doing it, being involved with anything like that.
I don't know. Like, say if it was up to me, it would have to be done on an individual basis. To say all terrorists come under this class of terrorism, get life in prison. You know, what if you're just like one of these people who are in a country where we've got troops who don't believe that our troops should be there and that they're doing more damage than they are, and then that person becomes filled with hatred for us because of the way that, you know, our troops are in their country, and then they try and fight back, and then they're considered to us a terrorist. I don't think that person should be put in prison for life, but obviously if they end up killing 30 odd people out of hatred, then yes, maybe they should be put in prison for life.
It costs a lot of money to keep a prisoner in prison. And do you know what it is? Terrorists, like, there's no leeway. There's no leeway at all in my head. There's a problem of people being prosecuted wrongly and they're being charged wrongly and all this different kind of stuff. There's loads of people that go to jail and they've done nothing wrong. But in an ideal world where that didn't happen and whoever went in front of the courts was sent to prison, all that different kinds of stuff, was actually guilty, I do genuinely believe bring the death penalty back. Stone the bastards, shoot the bastards' knees and slowly fucking kill them in a slow, painful death. Or throw them all on a fucking island. Like, I'm sure we've got one space somewhere, and just put some military on it, and then they'll just turn on each other, they'll kill each other, and then we aren't doing it. They deserve that. But again, as I said, people are wrongly convicted, and imagine someone that didn't actually do anything and they went to this island or they were stoned to death. Like, it happens around the world. So do I think the current laws are working? Of course not. But it was something like we would need 600,000 more officers for every single person on a watch list to be covered by the 30 policemen or policewomen that follow these subjects. Like, we just don't have the resources, don't have the money for that. Like, we're struggling to put 150, now it's 80,000 more on the streets. So something has got to change. Like, do we, as Trump done, like, I know this is a very sensitive thing, do we block Muslims coming in? Because that is massively racist, because not all Muslims are terrorists, but we're just shy of 100 people in the last 15 years. I know 15 years is a long time, but 100 people have died on UK soil due to Muslim terrorists. It's just a figure that is way, way, way too high. One's too high, and never mind what, 100? It's just fucked up on a different level. Like, I don't think I'll ever get my head around that one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I'm one of these people who I definitely wouldn't say that we should block people from coming in just because of the fact that they're Muslim, even though statistically, obviously, you know, that's what everyone would be looking at.
The Home Office are tracking them, flagging the names, but they don't have enough resources to, like, fully watch these people. There can be an influx of possibly thousands of people, so I don't know.
Coming into this country, I do think that there needs to be a bit more strict rules. In general, I don't think that there should be a ban specifically to do with, you know, certain people coming and going, but if they're going to do that anyway, then I think it should be a whole country ban. So it's not to single out specific people, because that could in itself be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel sorry for the people who come to this country for help, because if they stayed in their own country, their life would be terrible. Like, they would die, or their children not have enough food to survive. But then you have the people who say they shouldn't be allowed in this country in case they're a terrorist.
We don't have the things in place at the moment to accept this influx, especially not the security aspect of it. Do you feel safe on the streets? Like, is that something you can honestly say? Like, if you were in London, do you feel safe?
I was going to say yes, but to be completely honest, I mean, I spent New Year's Eve in London this year. So my partner and I chose to stay away from where they set off the fireworks, because obviously you have to buy tickets, and there's hundreds and hundreds, if not like a couple of thousand people who stand all across the same area on the bridge and on the riverside.
Yeah, big targets.
And we chose to stay away from there just because in today's world, if there was going to be something that happened, it would have happened there.
Yeah.
So we chose to stay away from it. So I suppose to answer that, then technically, no, I guess we don't feel safe on the streets of London, because if we did, then we would have not even thought about the fact that we should be somewhere that's crowded.
Yeah. Like, it's an inner frustration. It really is saying this, but I 100% don't feel safe on the streets, but that's what they want, and that's why I get frustrated, because me having that anxiety is letting them win. But it's a real anxiety that people feel, and everyone should feel, because these aren't just threats now, these are actual actions. And as I said, 100 people have died in this UK from terrorism. Like, you could just be walking down the street and someone comes behind you and slits your throat. Like, 1 minute you're just walking, maybe talking to someone, looking at something or listening to music, and the next you're on the floor trying to stop a mountain of blood coming out of you, and you may have minutes to live. Like, that shit honestly fucks me up. I guess it's that racial anxiety, and I know it's awful to even say that I've got racial anxiety. Like, I'm not racist in the slightest, but I can't help my anxiety. It's, for instance, as I said, I've got Muslim friends, and I hate even feeling this. Again, it's a frustration, but if I'm on a flight, or I'm at check-in, or I'm at the boarding gate, and I see someone with a full face veil, or even someone that looks like a Muslim, I'm analysing them, do they look sketchy, and I'm genuinely anxious. Like, and it shouldn't be like that, because I've got Muslim friends. You never know who a terrorist is. I don't know, I really don't pride myself in being that judgmental, but you can't help being judgmental when it's a very real threat, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to sort of not be judgmental when the things that you're sort of worrying about are happening around you. It's like, it's hard to, I know it's not the same, but being a gay guy, it's like walking into a room full of sort of like blokey straight men would immediately make me cautious. That's just judgmental of me, because me walking into a room full of burly straight men would assume that possibly one of them is going to cause a problem with me. But that's just because of the way that, the world has been and the world is what I base it off. I'm basing it off world events.
I kind of feel you on that one about men being against gay men. Like, the only example, because obviously I'm relatively new to this community, and fuck me, last year, some things definitely opened my fucking eyes up. I tell you that. But the only time I've really had that kind of hate to a point I was like, ooh, was me and my ex, good old Gav, fucking wanker. We're in a chippy waiting for a pizza, and all I done was give him a hug. Like, we had been on a night out, we're fucking steaming, and all I heard was, "You fucking faggots," and I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" So I turned around, and he was like, "Fucking queers, you shouldn't even be fucking in here. Get out!" And so I was really stressed, like 100% really stressed about it. His girlfriend, ended up pulling him away, going, "Honestly, I'm so sorry." Like, she was so embarrassed. But drunken words are sober thoughts. He might have the ability to control it when he's sober, but when you're drunk, you do let things out more. And people are conditioned growing up. Like, we've got to understand that people are conditioned to be against gays, be against lesbians, and all the rest. So you don't know how he was brought up, but definitely I kind of get what you mean now.
I was about to say, because it's not only people outside of the gay community. It's like, because I've been gay since I was 13. Like, I came out when I was like just a young teenager. It's also the dynamics that there are inside the gay community. Like, there are some gay people, stereotypically, that I wouldn't be comfortable hanging out with or being in a room with. And that's, a terrible way to think. But it's just the way that the world is, projected their sort of, stereotypical like views onto these specific types of gays. It's kind of like, there's this big thing in the gay community of how gays are promiscuous and how they don't really have an issue cheating on each other.
Cheating, fucking, oh my good God. Aaron last year was something fucking else. Like, that was my first ever boyfriend, and fuck me, as I said, it's opened my eyes. He is one of them gays that just, there's no loyalty whatsoever. Like, he would sleep around behind my back and absolutely uses and all this different kind of stuff and say no problem in it. At first I thought, do you know what it is? Like, nah, he's just hiding it. He's got to feel bad. By the end of that relationship, holy motherfucker, no, you didn't. And it blows my mind how someone can ever be in that mindset. Like, he used to say to me and his mom's told us this as well, from a young age, all his sister and him would say was, "One day all I want is a relationship like you and dad, like you're perfect." This guy, this fucking asshole, good old Gav, is never ever ever going to have a family like that. Not a chance. Well, unless he clears his act up, but he's 30 now and nothing's changed at all. Oh, I don't know. This might be very out there saying this, but I feel sorry 100% for his potential kids, because he's not going to be able to keep it in his pants. And he's never had to face consequences in his life. He's been mother cuddled all his life and never maybe had any harsh realities. So he is going to continue to do that, and he's going to split his family up. But he's that reckless and self-absorbed that he doesn't see that he's going to cheat, and that poor kid is going to have to be brought up in a broken home. I know that's not necessarily a bad thing, but studies have shown that it causes a lot of damage to kids. It's a disgusting part of the community, and it puts a bad light on the rest of it.
Yeah, but I've never understood why it's such a part of the community. I mean, one of the reasons that I dislike being on dating apps in my local area is just because I went on the dating app like Grindr when I was I don't know, 17 or 18. Didn't go on it for 8-9 years after that because it wasn't my kind of thing. After 8 or 9 years, when I uploaded it again and thought, I'll try it again, it was pretty much the exact same people. And it's just the same people using the same pictures. And they're always just asking if you're, one of the options that you can put on there is that you're looking for something available right now.
Yeah, it's just scruffy.
Someone asked me if I wanted to meet them behind the bins once. Why is that a thing?
Oh my god, yeah, it's just Grindr is a very, very, very dirty app. It is. You go on and people just send you photos of their dicks, and like it just they think that obviously it shows it does entice people. Like within 3 messages, send a dick pic. Oh yeah, that's hot. Up for fun. Yeah, no problem. Where are you? Within 3 messages, you can have someone on the way to your house. And I don't know, men that whore themselves around. Like again, I'll say I didn't know much about this community. Like we all know men are fucking slags. Most men are slags, and most men, a lot of men have a fucking trouble keeping it in their pants. But actually experiencing it and realizing how big and much of a problem it is within the community. Holy like mother of fucking shit, like holy god, holy fucking mother Teresa, whatever. Like it's just it's disgusting how people can abuse their bodies like that. Like fair enough, kinks and all this different kind of stuff. Like knock yourself out. We've all got these different kinks, but it's when the STIs start coming into play. Like there's someone that's recently been in my life was more than happy I asked them if them thought or knew them had something, like they knew they had an STI or they thought it's highly likely I've got an STI. If you're never going to see this person again that you're going to sleep with, would you still have sex with them without a condom? And yeah, the thrill of it. And I was nearly fucking sick. I've only ever had one STI, and that was off that cunt in my entire life. And just to think that the next person you're going with, the next guy or girl, girls might be like this as well. They probably will be. Them could be having sex with you, like, oh come on, let's not use a condom or blah blah. Some people won't, and they know that they've got something because they don't have to worry that they're never going to see you. Like to me, that's like one step too far. That should be like a legal matter. That's like giving someone something. Like there's a whole thing around if you knowingly have sex with someone without telling them you've got HIV, it's considered a crime. It should be like that with anything. It's no, not for me.
It should definitely be trialed as though it was a crime because you're damaging that person's lifestyle.
No, fucking hell, that can't. No, I'm joking. Oh my god.
The only reason that I met my partner at the minute is because we met at a wedding, and neither of us are on any gay social media apps whatsoever because it's not our scene. So it was just very fortunate that we met how we did.
But look at that, you've met at a wedding, and now you guys are going to have your own wedding. Like when you told me, I was like, what the fuck, holy mother of fuck. Like obviously I've known you 5 years now. We met in Thailand. Like that was still one of my best trips. But now you're getting married. Like this is some real grown up shit. Like are you all excited? And how's the lucky fella? Is he all excited?
Yeah, we're both really, I mean, I know it sounds super cheesy, but we just feel like, I mean, as I say, I've been gay since I was 13. I've been gay all my life, but I've been knowing that I've been gay since I was 13, whereas he only came out when he was in his late 20s. So that's very different. But we just both felt like when we met each other that something clicked.
Yeah.
This is why, I mean, I don't want to be stereotypical and be rude to everyone else that's sort of like, not getting married or in a stable relationship or anything like that. But this is how we both feel. We were both not willing to be part of that gay community that we both find quite disgusting. grinder and all sleeping together and not really caring who you're sleeping with and passing people around, and the amount of gay sex parties that go on with drugs and all that sort of thing is just so we aren't a part of that. And that's how we feel when we met. We clicked instantly, and it's like I'm marrying my best friend.
And you see, this is why you're getting married. This is why your guys are the ones that are happy, because you follow them just normal rules, like you said, like the drug, sex, and all this different kind of stuff. Like, if you're in a committed relationship, and like, don't get us wrong, I've done it like with a partner, but it's never been in a like an orgy. I mean, each to their own about doing that, but 100%, I know what you mean when everyone just like sleeps around, shares each other, just sniffs and doesn't use things. Like, you show like the correct way to do this, and the happy way to do it is to be loyal to each other and look after each other and love each other. And look what's happened now. You're getting married in what? How long?
I just have the thing in front of me now. It's 205 days.
205 days. Oh my god, that's actually not that long.
No, it's like now 6 months away. I think 6 months away.
Any nerves?
No, I can't. Like, he's brilliant, and he makes me happy every day, and I feel lucky every day. I joked with him 6 months ago when I proposed, whereas I know that I'm never going to meet anyone that makes me the same way that he makes me feel. So whilst I've got that, I need to make sure I bind him in with a legal bind. So then I proposed.
And while we're on the subject of marriage, like, Aaron, have you fucking seen Iris? She's now a celebrity, and by God, she deserves being a fucking celebrity, because when I watched this morning and I seen this bitch, like, she's my fucking hero. Like, Iris is an 8-year-old woman that she apparently shouldn't have sex for 35 years.
The first night, pretty rough. It was rough. Nobody had been near me for 35 years. But can I say what we used? A whole tube of KY jelly? Oh.
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that.
And the thing is, I couldn't walk the next day. Yeah, I felt as if I'd been riding a horse. Saddle sore wasn't in it. Anyway, we got over that.
Holly's face, like, oh my God, I was in hysterics. She's now my hero. Like, Iris is my hero, and rightfully so. She's now a celebrity. Good old Iris. Like, that is how I want to be at 80. Well, maybe not with some fucking toy boy or toy girl, but I want to fucking have a sense of humor like that. 100%. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. The first podcast is done and fucking finished, and oh my God, I'm going to have so much fun editing this. It's been so much fun. Well, Aaron, thank you very much. And if you ever want to do another one, you're more than welcome. I'm going to try and do this as a weekly thing now, or fortnightly, with 1 week a video, 1 week a podcast. I haven't worked out the schedule 100% just yet. Testing the waters, finding my feet. But yes, 100%. If you would like to do another one, please just give me a holler.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, happy days, and I will speak to you soon.